And the sick and sadistic thing about this, about all of this is that these natural events and cataclysms are supposed to happen on this planet as a purging of whatever is currently there. You know, we'll all return here. Remember yesterday I was talking about how, you know, this was a time when people needed to start separating themselves from their ego, and not the ego in the way of, you know, thinking you're better than somebody, but the idea that, you know, who you are, whatever your name is, you know, John Q. Citizen or whatever, Josh Reeves, whatever your name is, you know, disassociating who you are in your spirit and your soul with that ego programming that is based around whatever your name is. You know, I am this because I'm the sum total of my experiences. But life is going to find its way back, and we will be back in these realms in other forms. But, you know, this is a natural thing that happens on this planet. It's happened before. It will happen again. I mean, there are people out there that believe that these cataclysms on Earth are happened by extraterrestrials. They talked about that on the History Channel on Ancient Aliens recently. You know, these cataclysms and extraterrestrials causing cataclysms on Earth to cleanse the Earth of whatever populations are on at the time, be it, you know, the Atlanteans or the Lemurians, and now us in our day and age. But life somehow finds a way to go on and continue, doesn't it? But I think that, you know, we all need to start realizing that everything that we've read about for years coming, and everything we've read about for years that is coming down the pike and going to be here is now here. We're now in it. There's no use being scared about it. There's no use trying to deny it. There's no use trying to say, oh, well, it's probably just fear-mongering. I'm not going to worry about it. That's more dangerous, or as dangerous as freaking out and being a fear-monger. You know, apathy is just as dangerous. And that's the other, that, you know, that pisses me off, because I see so many people who exchange, you know, it's like if they don't get roped into the fear-mongering, then they exchange the fear-mongering for apathy. And then they just become apathetic, and they just say, oh, well, you know, I'm just not going to worry about it. Fuck it. I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. And you know, if it happens, it happens. But what is this that you've posted there in the chat? Top U.S. official murdered for exposing cause of bird and fish kills. WMD. What? Let's see here. Well, yeah, I'd heard about that. I'd heard that this guy who was an aide to Bush and had been was found dead in the landfill. Somebody trying to now say there's a connection to that. Is that what we're hearing here? A shocking report prepared for Prime Minister Putin by the Foreign Military Intelligence Directorate states that one of the United States' top experts in biological and chemical weapons was brutally murdered after he threatened to expose a U.S. military test of poison gas that killed hundreds of thousands of animals in Arkansas this past week. According to this report, John P. Wheeler III, Special Assistant to the Secretary of the Air Force, Washington, D.C., from 2005 to 2008, when he became the Special Assistant to the Acting Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Installations, Logistics, and Environment, was found brutally murdered and dumped in a landfill. As we can read, as reported by Fox News, Delaware police are investigating the apparent murder of a former Bush official who also championed the fundraising effort to build the Vietnam Veterans Memorial on the Mall in Washington, D.C. Wheeler's body was found in Wilmington on Friday. According to police, somebody initially reported that the body was dumped out of a refuse truck, which would have been coming from Newark onto the landfill. Newark police spokesman Lieutenant Mark Farrell told Fox News that nobody had reported Wheeler missing before he was found. According to the police, somebody initially reported the body had been dumped. Wheeler's military career included writing one of the most important manuals on the effectiveness of biological and chemical weapons, which led to his being hired in 2009 as a consultant to the Mitre Corporation, whose aviation system development department, the GRU reports, is at the forefront of creating the computer command and control systems used by the Air Force in their fleet of aerial spraying planes. These aerial spraying planes, this report continues, are based at the Little Rock Air Force Base in Arkansas that over the past few months have been involved with test dispersants of poisonous gases in the Afghanistan war theater using chemical weapon stocks obtained from Iraq held at the Pine Bluff Arsenal, also located in Arkansas. Important to note about the Pine Bluff Arsenal, which calls itself America's Arsenal, is that one of the world's most specialized munitions and chemical biological defense products and services bases, which Russia had previously accused of not fully reporting the chemical agents removed from Iraq between 2003 and 2008 and taken to the U.S. for subsequent destruction and testing. According to this report, the U.S. relocated from Iraq to the Pine Bluff Arsenal an estimated 63,000 metric tons of the poisonous gas Phosgene, Phosgene, that is described as one of the most feared chemical weapons ever used due to its ability to literally cause the lungs and respiratory system to explode. Nearly immediately after Russia accused the U.S. this past summer of not fully destroying Iraq's Phosgene poisonous gas stockpile, the Pine Bluff Arsenal began an accelerated disposal program, injecting it deep into the ground in central Arkansas, but which unfortunately, since the past September, has caused over 500 minor earthquakes. Oh, my goodness. So the plot thickens. So according to this, they have been injecting this Phosgene chemical into the ground in central Arkansas to get rid of it, which has been causing these earthquakes to happen. So either way, there's more evidence that they've been causing this to happen. This is, oh man, this makes a lot of sense. Pumping this stuff into the ground, then pumping it into the ground causes these earthquakes to happen. I mean, just like they do when they do hydraulic fracturing. More frightening, however, is the claim made in this report that the Americans have also begun shipping massive quantities of Iraq's Phosgene poisonous gas stocks to Afghanistan, where they will, when used, they will be able to say they had nothing to do with it, and believe no one will be able to prove it either. Important to note about Iraq's Phosgene poisonous gas stocks are that they are no longer able to be made by any Western country, including the United States, which makes its value as a weapon of mass destruction incalculable, especially in a war situation like Afghanistan, where the enemy forces are firmly entrenched in hostile terrain. To the direct reason for Wheeler's murder, this report says, was the past week's transport of Iraqi Phosgene poisonous gas aboard a U.S. Air Force KC-767 tanker aircraft, which they use for chemtrail spraying, by the way, from Little Rock Air Force Base en route to Afghanistan, that shortly after takeoff had a critical malfunction of its aerial spraying computer directed command and control system over Arkansas, causing the deaths of thousands of red-winged blackbirds. According to the U.S. reports, an estimated 4,000 of these birds were killed outright or were quickly removed by the U.S. Environmental Services. Workers wearing hazmat suits and gas masks. Another U.S. report states that the cause of the death of these thousands of birds was trauma in the breast tissue and blood clots in the cavity and a lot of internal bleeding. With this, which this GRU report states is consistent with the Phosgene exposure. Even more chilling than this incident is the GRU report stating that it was the second accidental release of Phosgene poisonous gas in as many days as the day before. This same U.S. Air Force KC-767 tanker aircraft also had a critical malfunction causing a release of the Arkansas River that killed over 100,000 fish. Upon Wheeler discovering what was happening with Iraq's Phosgene poisonous gas stockpiles, this report continues, he traveled from his home in Delaware to Washington, D.C., where he openly confronted and threatened to expose the Pentagon and White House officials responsible. Being a Vietnam veteran who was responsible for having the famous memorial to that war erected, Wheeler was more than knowledgeable about the United States' massive chemical and biological attacks in that conflict and had vowed to not let it happen again. Sadly, but all too common in the United States these days, when Wheeler threatened to go public with what was happening, he was targeted for death. as a sign to anyone else thinking of going against the regime, and had his body dumped in a garbage pit for all the world to see. So that's it's unbelievable. Definitely adds another level to this, doesn't it? This. Oh yeah. I've done it. Yeah, I know. I've been up there with my grandparents several times. I've dug for diamonds and stuff up there in Arkansas before. Yeah. Oh yeah. But so putting this phosgene chemical into the ground also can cause earthquakes and also cause all these massive fish die-offs as well. Boy, that makes sense of the death of Wheeler now. Because, I mean, this was another story, and I didn't really even cover it because we were talking about these other issues. I didn't realize there was really a tie-in. My God, everything is happening in terms of this now. And then this explains the Gulf oil disaster even more. The idea of how they were breaking open the ocean floor, which would then cause all this massive tectonic activity. I mean, it. Wow, I'm just stunned. I'm floored here. Yeah, the Corexit. Yeah, I mean that chemical compound being there. Who knows what that stuff is really doing? It's another compound that. Yeah, I'm sort of making the chat interactive today because it's of this issue. Man, oh man, oh man. Unbelievable stuff. I'm just flabbergasted. I'm floored here. I'm just sort of being quiet because I'm just it's unbelievable. Let's see what else we can find about this phosgene stuff here. I'm going to do a little quick search. Again, if you'd like to be a part of the broadcast, we'd love to hear from you. 214-613-5732 if you'd like to join us here on the show. Phosgene is a chemical compound that this colorless gas gained infamy as a chemical weapon during World War I. Is also a valued industrial reagent and building block in the synthesis of pharmaceuticals and other organic compounds. Well, isn't that interesting? They use it in the manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. Huh. And you know what's located in Missouri, there, not too far from the New Madrid fault line, don't you? None other than Monsanto. Don't think Monsanto could have any hand in producing this stuff, do you? In low concentrations, its odor resembles freshly cut hay or grass. Some soldiers during the First World War stated that it smelled faintly of May blossom. In addition to its industrial production, small amounts occur naturally from the breakdown and the combustion of organochlorine compounds, such as those used in refrigeration systems. The name, sounding similar to phosphine, does not mean it has any phosphorus. Phosgene is a planar molecule as predicted by the Weissenberg theory. Upon ultraviolet radiation in the presence of oxygen, chloroform slowly converts into phosgene via a radical reaction. The great majority of phosgene is used in the production of isocantases, the most important being toluene, disoctane, and methyl. These are different compounds that are used. Following the extensive use of phosgene gas in combat during World War I, it was stockpiled by various countries as a part of their secret chemical weapons program. Phosgene was then only frequently used by the Imperial Japanese Army against the Chinese during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Gas weapons such as phosgene were produced by Unit 731 and authorized by some specific orders given by Hirohito himself. For example, the Emperor authorized the use of toxic gas on 375 separate occasions during the Battle of Wuhan from August to October 1938. Phosgene